The time has finally arrived. We caught the overlanding bug on our last trip back home. Being able to get off the beaten track was absolutely incredible, and it left us desperate for adventure and a more capable vehicle. It was going so well, John. Enter the iconic British Land Rover Defender. After spending 6 weeks converting it into a camper, we had our first taste of overland life on an amazing trip to Morocco, all the way to the Sahara Desert and then back up through the Badlands, sunny Spain. This kind of travel was everything we'd hoped for and more, so we decided to take it to the next level and build this, our dream overlander. We put 5 months of blood, sweat and tears into creating this one-of-a-kind vehicle, and today we are so excited to take it on its maiden voyage.
But after only using it for 24 hours, she's up for sale.
Welcome back everybody, and it's great to finally be out adventuring in the old girl, but there's one thing that we have to say this vehicle isn't, and that's stealth.
Honestly, you cannot go anywhere without people laughing and smiling and waving. We took it down to King's Lynn the other day just for a little burn, make sure everything was good before we came out. We got 3 messages of the fact people saw us out in it.
But one lady looked at us and she literally screwed her face up as if to say, and then laughed as if to say, what on earth is that? I don't really know why, because it doesn't really look different to any other vehicle now, does it? But we have come to a show today. We've lived here for what?
11 years we have lived in England, and I have wanted to come to this show the whole time we've lived here, and we've finally made it. We're at the Lincolnshire show today.
If you haven't guessed, Jess is trying to be all posh, isn't she, with that hat?
Yeah, gotta fit in, baby.
Don't worry, I'll bring her down.
Like usual.
Told you it's posh, look. Plenty of defenders about. But if you don't know what the Lincolnshire show is, it's basically a farm show, would you say?
It's an agricultural and horticultural show.
That's the one.
It is.
And Australia's amazing, Canada's amazing, America's amazing, all the places in the world are amazing. But you can't beat England on a summer's day.
In the countryside.
Oh, just the best thing in the world. And it's something that I didn't realise until we moved to Australia. But yeah, what a place.
This show has been running since 1869 and is everything you imagine of a quintessentially British country show. There's beautiful flower arrangements, all the livestock on show, including rare breeds. Are you a donkey? Or are you a sheep? But I think my favourite thing at any agricultural show though is the junior handler class. And this is no exception. Sheep on the end being a little bit frisky. He's doing a good job. I am of course entertained for hours by the horse shows too, and lured in by all the food and drink stands. It doesn't get much more British than Pimm's and strawberries. It's also lovely to see people getting dressed up and looking very dapper in their country attire. Much to my disgust and John's delight though, this seems to be becoming part of British fashion. These shows offer the rare gift of keeping John as well entertained as they do me. He's like a kid in a candy shop admiring all the machinery on show, and even the ones that aren't.
Some beauty pressure washers about as well. Well, that one. Don't even know what it is, but it looks good.
The livestock events and display areas keep him occupied too, but for very different reasons.
Size of them.
Every man wishes.
Do you reckon this is where the saying came from?
What?
About the gingers.
Use your ears as a curtain.
Just thinking,
Yeah.
there's some resemblance.
Yeah, between you and them, seeing as we're at the Lincolnshire show, seems only right that we should get a foot-long Lincolnshire sausage. 2 traditional Lincolnshire, please.
Would you like onions?
I don't. Do you want onions? No onions, thank you. Looky at this here weapon of a sausage.
We used to be really tight for this, I'd say, didn't we? Never used to get food at places like this because it cost a fortune. But we've come to an agreement, haven't we? We don't look at the prices because it will just
Otherwise I
scare
couldn't buy it. But it is delicious. Oh no, I sauced my leg. I don't know if food at shows is actually nicer. But it's just because you have it in the atmosphere.
In your head.
In your head. You think, oh yeah, that is really good.
Whatever it cost, it was always cheaper than the beer at the Cubs game.
Oh yeah. It really is too.
We spent the rest of the day checking out all the beauty vehicles at the show. They had everything from military tanks to old removal lorries, vintage mini steam engines, and even Big Red's great-grandfather. But like usual, I spent half the day waiting round for the general, better known as Pissy Pants.
Nobody's surprised. Only joking. Only 2 today.
You mean only 2 or number 2?
Oh, for goodness sake.
Without a doubt though, best thing of this show. What have we here, look? HX60. It's been used, this one, but they're like London buses, look. You never get one, you always get 2.
We definitely have to do a landy again, and when we do, we want to build our own version of the ambulance body, but we're thinking maybe we could repurpose a Sainsbury's box on the back. How cool would that be? And also maybe a little green.
Oh, what?
A little green.
What's a little green?
Instead of a big red, a little green.
I'll take it back. This might be the best thing at the show.
Well, it's official. John is a traitor because not 2 years ago, when we were building the Sainsbury's van, he said, and I quote, "I bleed bluey green." Just walked over to the Milwaukee truck. What did you say to the man?
I bleed red. At least I don't bleed yellow, like some of you lot.
What do we think, people? Should we get an even bigger Big Red? But of all the cool vehicles here today, my favourite has always been, and will always be, the Mini. Definitely still top of my list for a vehicle I have to own. Well, that was worth the 11-year wait. Everything you expect from an agricultural show and more. Plus, it was a gloriously sunny day and 28 degrees. One thing I was super grateful for today, though, is that I've recently changed to Wild deodorant, because otherwise I fear I may have smelt like I'd spent a little bit too much time in the piggery. I like a lot of things about Wild's products. They're made with natural ingredients, so there's no aluminium salts or parabens. They're vegan and Leaping Bunny certified, which means that they're cruelty-free. They don't use any single-use plastics, and they plant a tree every single time you buy a product. But the thing I'm most grateful for today is that their deodorant protects you for 24 hours and smells fabulous. You only need to buy the reusable cases once for the body wash, lip balm and deodorants, and you can also have them personalised with his and hers, but I think that my favourite cases are these Emma Bridgewater ones because they're so pretty. I think they'd make a lovely gift. To refill them, you just pop your cap off and put your scent of choice inside, and then the lid goes back on. Now, they all smell lovely, but I think that my favourite by far is the Sunkissed. I've got quite sensitive skin, and it's got even worse since the dreaded peri-peri, as John calls it, but these have been absolutely brilliant. And I'm so glad that I've switched that I've even got John's mum onto them, because in her words, most deodorants make her feel like she wants to rip her skin off, but these have helped her too. We're proud to have partnered with Wild, and for a limited time only, they've given us a 20% discount if you use the code TRUEBLUE at the checkout. Or you can click on this QR code here. I'll put the link in the description for you. I have been waiting to do that for far too long, because this is why we made this gull wing.
Cheers to Big Red.
And cheers to the air fryer. This is by far the easiest meal I have ever made in a camper. Best seat in the house?
This is beautiful. The sun is in the right spot as well, beaming on through.
You've
This is
got your
definitely
Home Alone hair going on as well for the people. Looking dashing, I have to
Clooney
say.
again. Clooney.
It's even perfect length for you, look.
It's always good when it's perfect length.
Oh, God.
I'd like a combine harvester.
for all your crops.
Next door neighbour's got one.
Because he's a farmer.
They look pretty cool, don't they? I keep trying to convince Jess, let's buy a JCB fast track and we convert that into a camper, because nobody's done that. Everybody's done a Unimog.
What would the MPG be on that, and how fast would we get anywhere?
But can you imagine that? That'd look well cool. The world's first fast track JCB camper.
It's not happening. For my next luxury camper life trick, I present to you the electric kettle.
We found our first issue with the camper. I didn't put an accumulator on the old water system, so it goes and pulsates. I thought because we weren't running hot water we wouldn't need one, but we need to stick one of them on.
Otherwise people might think there's some other kind of activity going on in here.
She's had a few drinks, hasn't she?
3 beers down, baby.
Good to be back in the old pop top anyway, isn't it?
This brings back some memories of the old Landy. Let's hope, though, that we don't get the same noises as we did that night we went to the GP.
Yeah. Ring, ring, ring.
We did see some boys come past in their racer car tonight, so hopefully they've just come to enjoy the sunset.
They are parked at the road. Should we see if they're still there?
See if they're still there. John said they were weirdos. I think that's a bit harsh.
This is it.
Yeah, there they are, look. Don't know if you can see them, but they're not revving, so I think we're all right. I think they've just come for a romantic evening.
If they want to murder somebody, they're murdering you. Where's the other bug bush?
So romantic. There's the other. There's the other. Oh, there's a bug caught in it anyway.
Beautiful night anyway.
Absolutely beautiful.
Did you enjoy your first night in the old pins then?
I really did. It's very comfy.
I love the old pop top tent, but I think it's like everything when you get things like this. It's great when it's good, because last night there was no wind. Well, what a spot as well, but if it would have been raining and windy, maybe a different story.
Oh, see, I like the sound of the rain on the roof, but the wind in a pop top is not the one.
Well, I
Although
tell
we
you
do
what,
have the
Jess.
comfy bed downstairs.
Whoever was here last was exhausted, weren't they?
Oh my God.
Absolutely exhausted.
You're such an idiot.
We have noticed another couple of things we need to change, because when we're sat at this seating area here, when we've got our phones and things like that, we haven't got any USB points down here. So luckily I installed a 12 volt fuse board there, so we can just stick another USB in. We were going to make a box unit that fits on here for storage, but apart from that, the rest of it is going quite well. So the cooking, that's all good. We're still at 98% from yesterday. I mean, it helps that we've got all the solar, but with regards to like the seating area and that, it was brilliant. It's almost like I had my space, Jess had hers, so she didn't really do my head in that much. But we have got another couple of issues. So the drawer down the bottom there, show them the drawer, Jess.
So just this one here, when you pull it out, when it gets to the very end, it just rubs. So we
it
just
hits
need
the
to stand
floor.
at the bottom of that. But like John said, other than that, she is a beauty, and I've got so much worktop space as well, even when this down. And the induction hob is a game changer. Being able to use this as actual space on your worktop is a big win.
The toilet is not the comfiest, is it?
But probably better than the yoga pose you had to do in the Defender.
Yeah, but I think it's because we're used to the luxury of the tiny separate, because that's just like a household toilet, that one. So
Bit spot. But then you wouldn't be able to sit on that in here because you'd hit your head on the roof. So
Yeah.
win some, lose some.
do we need to show the people with you on the toilet?
We do not need to show the people me on the
I
toilet.
think it's
People
like-
have seen me on the toilet plenty of times.
I think it's
thanks to you.
It's a ritual though, isn't it? Every vehicle we have, you have to see Jess on the toilet.
Honestly, right, this whole weekend, every time I've gone to go to the toilet, I've made sure that the cameras are nowhere near John, so he can't get me. I hadn't told him this until now. There was another show on this weekend that we very much wanted to take Big Red to, which is the Abenteuer and Allrad show in Germany, and it's the biggest overlanding show in the world, and I think it's the one place that Big Red wouldn't look out of place. We went a couple of years ago, and the car park, I think, is just as good as the show, seeing everyone's amazing vehicles. But unfortunately, we've got other plans. Our dream for this truck was to test its mettle on the famous off-road tracks of Iceland. The image of Big Red driving along the black sands at the base of a volcano is what spurred us on through the build, and the thought of the old fire truck exploring the land of ice and fire seemed so fitting. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
Jess royally messed up here.
I did indeed. I thought that this was a beach that you could drive on. You can drive onto the pavement, which is adjacent to the beach, but I have sand under my feet, so it's a half win.
In England, it seems that, well, I don't think anywhere in England you can drive on the beach apart from...
Wales you can, I know.
Yeah,
but
which is not England, before I get any grief for that. But I think there's somewhere in Yorkshire as well.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Well, that's in England. John's geography strikes again.
I know, but it's a bit of a trek is all I'm saying. So,
But, as you will have seen on the thumbnail and in the intro,
the old girl's
sad
for sale.
news. Mhm.
Gutted, absolutely devastated. We're going to regret this without a doubt. There's no like bones about it, really, is there?
But it's become a bit of a head over our hearts kind of decision.
Yeah.
And we also, I think, need to say very much sorry to you guys who have said that you are so excited to see us use this, because we have been just excited as well.
One of the most popular comments we've got since we started this was, we can't wait to see you using Big Red. And we can either, and like we've just said a minute ago, especially in Iceland, would be incredible.
Yeah.
But one lesson we've learned from doing campers like this is we're only going to have one camper at a time, because we started with the Defender and we had to sort of park that up and use the Sainsbury's van. So that was just sat there for ages. And then the same with this. It took us longer than we thought to build it. So then we had to go and use the Sainsbury's van, didn't we?
Yeah, because we had intended to take this on a trip before we then took the Sainsbury's van off to the Americas for what was also supposed to be a much longer time. So I think the other thing we've learned about ourselves is that our plans change a lot.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't want to just stick to what we've first decided, because everything changes. So yeah, we just got to roll with the punches. But we will regret it, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
So.
But the reason that we are selling it is that we need the money, because our next project is probably going to be our biggest project ever.
Yeah. So I can't wait to share that one with you, and hopefully we can share it with you next week. And it's the reason why we came home early as well. But with this for sale, we had quite a lot of questions when it came to the Sainsbury's van, where we're going to list it. We didn't actually list that. That sold before we even got to list it. And when you're watching this video is when this will be up for sale. So we're going to list it for £80,000, which I know some of you
Scandalous amount of money.
which some of you might be thinking it's not worth. But again, I just go off what's selling and what's about, and I think it's about the right price.
Well,
again.
and considering how rare these are, it's unusual to have something to base it off of. But we did see one sell last year for that price. So it will go on Facebook and like Expedition Marketplace and things like that. We hope someone finds her a good home, and maybe they will take her to Iceland.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward to seeing you guys next week, where fingers and toes and everything crossed, we can finally tell you why she's for sale.
You all right, mate?
Looking nice, mate, that.
Oh, thanks very much. See you next week.